Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head back to Russia, and this is going to be the last beer in this kind of mini-series that I've been filming for you of Russian beers over the last couple of weeks. So for this review we are going to return to Moscow and go back to the brewery where this little mini-series started, and we're having a taste of another beer from Zagovor Brewery. So this one is the stamp of approval. It comes in at 8% ABV and it is a single hopped New England double IPA using Citra, which is one of the classic high alpha acid hops. I mean, back in the day it was always Simcoe, Amarillo and Citra that were the big hops that a lot of people were using, so it's cool to go back and have a look at a sort of single hopped Citra beer. It really is still a very nice and quite complex hop actually, and basically that's what they say on the side of the can here. That was their motivation for actually making this beer. I was very impressed with the Sad Wave IPA that I had from these guys, so I think this one will be a little bit more kind of big and boozy and things like that, so really curious to see how it turns out. As I've said in the other videos, the standard of the Russian beers is, you know, top class. I really hope to get there sometime and visit one of the beer festivals. That would be an awesome experience. Russia's a country I've been really interested in for a number of years now. My history teacher used to love Russian history and, you know, the Tsars and the revolutions and then the Cold War and all of these sort of things. It really is a very fascinating place, so I really hope that I can get there and visit it at some point soon, and of course try a load of their craft beers. Big thank you to Hannah once again for making these reviews possible. It's been great to review some more Russian beers for you, and hopefully I can do this a little bit more regularly on the channel for you over the next little while. But yeah, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery before we taste the beer. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Zagovor Brewery before. No doubt I will add some more at some point in the future. I really hope I can return to this brewery sometime soon. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlists of beers from different countries. There is one there for the Russian beers that I've reviewed for you. That's being added to whenever I get the opportunity, and as always please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated, and do give me some other Russian brewery recommendations as well. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Zagovor Brewery then. So Zagovor Brewery was founded back in 2014 and they can be found in Moscow, Russia's capital city. But apparently a lot of the breweries in Russia started up when the currency, the Russian ruble, collapsed back in 2014, and this meant that a lot of the imported beers became very expensive, so they decided to get around that by brewing their own. And you know, 2014, 2015 is when a lot of these craft breweries that are around in Russia now began to get going. But the brewery was originally founded by 6 people, although one of the guys left being active in the brewery to return to his career in medicine, while another one went on to work in television, but he still helps a little bit in the sales. But the 4 founders that are still active in the company are Gregory Maleev, Alexander Maltsev, Alexander Sasha Korobkov and Vadim Gurov. So the friends apparently met through playing music and things like that. They used to play in different bands, they travelled around, they drank beer together. On their travels they went to America and Australia, and it was in those countries that they started to encounter craft beer, and they really liked it, and they decided after a while that they wanted to brew their own. So this took them down the route of home brewing, and then of course later on they went on to found their own company. But initially the brewery were contract brewing their beers at different breweries around Russia, but they opened up their own brewery in early 2018, and all of the equipment that they have is Russian built, which is quite cool actually, because most of the time you think of brewing equipment coming from like China or either being built in Germany and things like that. I know a few breweries have got Italian brew kits too, but the companies that their equipment comes from is Brew Success Group in St. Petersburg, Nomas, who are from Mias, and the Pint Craft Company, who are from Voronezh. But Sasha Korobkov is the head brewer, and they started off brewing just 180 hectolitres of beer per month, but they have capacity in this new brewery to brew 300 hectolitres of beer per month. As of September 2019, when I'm filming this review, they've produced over 130 different types of beer, and they've also got an association with the Rule Tap Room in Moscow. I believe it's one of the owners of the brewery actually owns that, and they also have an association with the Dogma bottle shop there as well, which is where Hannah bought this beer. The word Zagovor translates into English as being as a conspiracy. So this brewery's name is literally the Conspiracy Brewery. So yeah, that's all you really need to know about this brewery. I've noticed that these guys are getting out there a little bit more. They did a collaboration recently with Amundsen Brewery from Norway, and I'm guessing that hopefully they do a few more collaborations with some Swedish and Danish breweries, because they're a little bit easier for me to get a hold of. I'll need to see if I can get a hold of that beer that they did with Amundsen. That would be cool to review. But yeah, that's all I was able to really find out about this brewery. It's quite difficult to get information on the Russian breweries, because you've got to translate the brewery name into Cyrillic and all of these kind of things, which is it's a bit fun to try and find these things. It gives you a little bit of a challenge when you're doing the research. But a very, very good Russian brewery, this one, and one that you definitely need to check out if you get the chance. I get the feeling that more and more Russian breweries are at the size now where they can look at exporting, but I guess it's quite difficult for them, because I don't think Russia has too many trade deals with the European Union or America and things like that. So hopefully that's something that we sort out over the next little while. It'll be cool to see some more Russian beers making their way out into Europe. But yeah, let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself, then we can get rid of the brewery notes. So yeah, you can see the artwork on this one is a little bit different from what we had before with the Sad Wave. A little bit more minimalist and almost kind of Swedish in its style, this one. I really like that, actually. There you can see on the side the Zagovor Brewery symbol, which is kind of cool. I don't know how well you're seeing that in the light. It actually looks a little bit like it's kind of cool actually, because you know it's two bottles kind of chinking together, but it almost looks a little bit like the symbol on the Russian flag that you get, the state crest, if that's right. But yeah, you know, from a distance it looks a little bit like that. But yeah, so quite cool. This one, vegan friendly beer, this apparently. So yeah, without further ado, let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting. A single Citra single hop New England double IPA at 8% ABV. Incidentally, this can is 500 millilitres. That's why it looks a little bit taller than the other ones that I've reviewed. The Russians know how to do it. They use proper measurements rather than these tall boy cans. 440 millilitres to me, it doesn't really make sense. I keep saying that, but you know, we all know it's down to sales and stuff like this. But I'm glad to see that Russia is sticking to half litres, which I think just, you know, for my scientific brain, makes a lot more sense. But yeah, look at this. So, as you can see with this one, it's poured a lovely bright yellow colour, and I've actually noticed this. I noticed this with the Sad Wave as well. I wonder if this is a trend. These New England IPAs that Zagovor are doing seem to be they seem to be all quite bright and yellow rather than orangey as some of them can be, but it looks very, very nice. This one's definitely a little bit more hazy as well than the Sad Wave. The Sad Wave wasn't too hazy. This isn't the haziest of New England IPAs that you're going to come across, but definitely hazier than the last one I had from these guys. So yeah, lovely bright yellow colour, one or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, a few little ones heading up towards the bottom of that head, which incidentally has just faded away to be a very thin foamy layer, but it was perfect white in colour. So yeah, nothing overly surprising about this beer in terms of its appearance. A little bit more hazy than the other one I had from Zagovor before, but it looks very, very nice. So let's take a closer look at the aroma then and just see how we get on. Oh, that smells good. Yeah, you can tell with the aroma in this one, there's a good little bit of a boozy quality in there. Again, compared with the Sad Wave, this one has a good bit of a wheaty quality coming out of it. You can really smell some of the sort of astringency and pungency, those big, strong, wheaty aromas coming out of this one. Yeah, that's really nice. If you sugar the beer up a little bit, you start to get some of the kind of biscuity notes, McVitie's digestive cookie type notes out of the beer, and they're a bit stronger in this one too because it is higher in alcohol. You usually need to add a little bit of sweet malt to like caramel or carapils or something like that. It's maybe, I guess it's carapils they're using in this one to give it a bit of a crisp mouthfeel or so. But yeah, it's definitely got a little bit more of a sweetness to it, this, compared to some of the other ones. But lovely kind of creamy oaty qualities in there as well. But you can smell with this beer straight away, it is a little bit more boozy, and it's almost like the strength of the wheaty qualities and also that little bit of sweetness that's balanced out there. So yeah, malt base with this one is pretty much like you would expect, and quite similar actually to the Sad Wave IPA that I had before. On the hoppy side of things, on the green side of the hops, this one has a really nice quite spicy, floral aromaticity to it. The grassy notes in this one are fairly prominent as well. It's got a good balance between the sort of quite spicy floral aromatic notes and the lighter grassiness, which suits it. But yeah, it smells nice. Of course, one of the focuses with this beer is definitely the fruity side of things too. So I mean, straight away with this beer, there's a good little bit of, there's a strong kind of tropical pungency to this one, a little bit of a grapefruity, passion fruity note coming out of this one. You've also got these nice kind of mango notes, juicier mango in there as well. Mango, of course, is the kind of trademark aroma that you would expect of Citra. That's absolutely lovely. I really like that. Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, lovely big juicy mango notes to this one. It's got a little bit of that lychee kind of gooseberry complexity that you can get from Citra too, and there's maybe even a little touch of a limey quality to this beer also, which is nice. But yeah, I really like how all the aroma in this one's going together. I mean, by no means is this the most complex of New England IPAs that you're going to come across with its aroma, but it comes across as being very straight up and very, very nice. And sometimes that's what you want. You just want a beer that is really, you know, that is really quite nice and quite easy going. So yeah, straight up, very straight up aroma this one, and if it's anything like the Sad Wave IPA, I think this one will be pretty damn good. So as I always say, take a little look at the aroma before you taste the beer, but we're going to have a go at this one and see how we get on. This one is the stamp of approval, not a double dry hopped, a single hopped New England double IPA at 8% ABV from Zagovor Brewery in Moscow in Russia. Let's get stuck in. Slanje, skål, na zdraví. Yeah, again, that's just a lovely, lovely beer. Well done to Zagovor Brewery, they've done an awesome job of this. Yeah, that's really, really good. Yeah, this one, they've just got a very, very good base. I mean, what I would say about this beer as well is, I mean, at 8% ABV, this is ridiculously easy to drink. And you know, I've got Russian friends, and I'll say they do like to drink. They really do. If they've got stuff that is like this that is that easy to drink, you can only imagine what happens. What happens in Russia? What happens in Russia stays in Russia, I'm sure. But this is an awesome, awesome New England IPA. Again, it's very, very light and easy going. They seem to, you know, Zagovor seem to really like having these light and drinkable New England IPAs. It comes across with that very clean mouthfeel that I talked about in the Sad Wave review as well. This is a beautiful beer. Awesome. So yeah, let's try and break down the flavours then. So I mean, straight away with this beer, you get that nice pale malty quality. That just blankets the middle of your tongue. The further you go into the aftertaste, you can feel the wheat just pushing its way out a little bit more. The malt base in this one is a bit different to the Sad Wave that I had before, because this one definitely leans more towards that kind of creamy side of things. The oaty qualities in this beer are actually very sweet and smooth, and they go right across the middle of your palate. In the very centre of your tongue, you've got that little bit of a kind of biscuity, almost cookie-like sweetness in there. It really is very nice, and that just sits there in the middle of your tongue. As you go out further from that, you get the very smooth oaty and quite sweet notes actually from the oats too, but you've got that nice smooth wheaty base, and the wheat isn't really that pungent in this beer. It's a lot smoother, to be honest, than the Sad Wave was. So this is a very, very smooth, very nice, easy drinking double IPA, this one. I don't think that I've come across one that's quite as easy drinking as this. They've really got this down to a T, to be honest. I'd love to go and try some of the different styles from this brewery, because the way they do their IPAs is top class. I mean, you know, I need to try some imperial stouts or things from this. I'd love to see how these guys do a West Coast IPA as well, now that I think about it. But they've got the New England style down to an absolute T, to be honest with you. It's a lovely, very light, easy drinking beer, this one. Great stuff. And that malt base is really quite unique, to be honest with you. Let's get the rest of it in here. At 8% though, this is ridiculously easy to drink. You could easily, knock yourself flat with a few of these. Crazy. But yeah, the malt base is lovely. On the hoppy side of things then, back corners of the palate, you have a little bit of earthiness in there. As you come further forward, the earthiness is actually a little bit sweet, to be honest, but as you come further forward, you get a little bit of a kind of nice floral aromaticity out of this beer. It's not quite spicy, it's just actually quite light and nice, and then round the very front curve of the tongue it's a little bit lighter and grassy. I think you've got a very nice balance in the green side, on the green side of the hops in this beer. It's really nicely done. Yeah, that's an odd. This is ridiculously good. It really is. Behind the front curve of the palate, then you get that nice oily bubble where those juicy, fruity esters start to push their way out of the beer. And again, this is very, very straight up, this one. If you go to the very back of that sort of oily bubble, there's a little bit of that kind of dark grapefruit type flavour there, but as you come further forward, it very quickly evolves into that nice juicy mango that you expect from Citra. Citra has this lovely juicy mango quality to it, and then as you move a little bit further forward from that, you maybe get a little hint of an almost apricot-y flavour, something like that. But then if you just go behind the very tip of your tongue, it's got a little bit of a gooseberry and limey quality just sitting there, and the further you go into the aftertaste, the gooseberries start to push their way out a little bit more. And you also get some kind of, some almost lychee type flavours in there as well. You can feel, towards the front of the tongue, you will get a little bit of that wheaty quality, just that sort of pungency that wheat can sometimes give you. You can feel that pushing its way out of the malt base in this one a little bit, the further you go into the aftertaste. But as I say, the thing that really gets me about this beer is how easy it is to drink. It comes across as very, very kind of clean. So let's talk about the mouthfeel of this one. This one, again, it's at the bottom end of mid-bodied, but it's very light on the tongue, but it's got a hell of a lot of flavour in it, which is really cool. It's very, very different compared to any other New England IPAs that I've come across recently. So at the bottom end of mid-bodied, carbonation's very smooth on this one. The mouthfeel overall, again, is really quite wet in this. It's got a lovely smoothness to it, but at the same time, it's really quite wet. It just feels very, very clean in the mouth, to be honest with you. I would say the malt base is very smooth, bordering on sweet. It's a very unique malt base in this one. I love that, the way the malt base comes across in this beer. Very, very smooth and just blankets the middle of your tongue. In terms of hoppy bitterness, I think we're talking maybe about 30-ish, maybe 40 IBUs of this. I think it actually says on the can. 40 IBUs, right, okay. So yeah, it wasn't far off. So yeah, nice little bit of hoppy bitterness to this beer, and the way the fruits come across is really nice. It gets a bit juicier into the aftertaste and a little bit drier on the fruity notes, but you've still got some of those kind of stronger tropical fruit notes sitting at the back of your tongue too. But overall, very, very nice beer, this one. Lovely mouthfeel, lovely blend of flavours, and I'm glad that I was able to review this one for you here on the channel. So yeah, let's leave it at that. It's an awesome beer, this one, and definitely worth checking out. Pardon me, very unique. I hope this isn't the last IPA that I review from the Zagovor Brewery. I've been really impressed with it. So yeah, let's leave it at that. If you get the chance to try some of these Zagovor beers, have a go at them. I think this is one of the first breweries from Russia that we'll see start to import and export their stuff. I'd love to see these guys throughout Europe. I mean, I've never seen them in Scotland before or in Sweden, so hopefully they start to make it over to make it into the EU at some point soon. That would be great to see. But it just shows you the quality of the Russian beers. It's great, and you saw that in the review of the Stam beer review, and also the AF brew review as well. There's some great stuff out there. So yeah, make sure you check out some Russian beers. But once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comments section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Zagovor Brewery as well. I really hope that I can return to this brewery in the future. I'd love to try an Imperial Stout or something like that from these guys. But it's been awesome to do this little Russian mini-series for you as well. Big thank you to Hannah for making this one possible. And I will catch you guys very soon, hopefully, with some more Russian beer reviews. The stamp of approval, New England double IPA with Citra hops. at 8% from the Zagovor Brewery in Moscow. Once again, thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys later. Make sure you check out this brewery, check out my social media, and I'll catch you guys very soon. Slanje, skål, na zdraví.